We're here in Paris where there's one of the spin-offs of The Walking Dead, the one about Daryl Dixon.
Yes.
And speaking about spin-offs, you are actually part of the Ones Who Live spin-off on one of the most recent episodes. What can you tell about your participation in this?
They brought back Father Gabriel to do a series of scenes with the character Anne, Jadis, played by Pollyanna McIntosh, that were told in flashbacks over the 5 years, where they met once a year out in the woods. He stumbles upon her out in the woods. I guess she's laying in wait for him, I guess. And they make an arrangement to meet once a year and check on each other. So that was the thrust of that episode. So
your character had a more premature death in the comics than in the series.
Yes.
Were you happy with that ending?
Yes. No, I was very excited by it because things seemed to come full circle for Father Gabriel in the finale of The Walking Dead. He got to avenge the wrong that he had done by his churchgoers, by locking them out of the church, by letting in the people who were locked out in the Commonwealth, which I thought was a fantastic full circle moment.
Would you be interested, perhaps, if they would have done like a spin-off on your character?
Absolutely, especially if it was set in Paris.
Yeah. What would you think that could be the story? Like maybe you just go spread hope around all of the other churches, or maybe a religious mission?
I'm not sure. It was the character had so many ups and downs and such a great character arc. I think it would have to be kind of a new story or a complete backstory, one or the other.
As a viewer, what do you think about your character?
I thought he was one of the more interesting characters on the show, mostly because of the arc that he was on. I personally like Father Gabriel, perhaps because I played him, but I recognize his weaknesses and his strengths as being very human, and I think that helped us stand him out a little bit from the more heroic characters on the show.
So there's a lot of fans that love your character, that you're one of their favorite characters, but there's also some of them who are not as much a fan because of what Father Gabriel did. Have you ever encountered a fan that couldn't distinguish you from the character and like act crazy or something?
I did in the beginning. There was a little bit of confusion between the actor and the character, but I chalk that up to my brilliant performance, which was seamless and hard for people to understand. It was just a character.
You know, that's actually one of the things they say is, you're a good actor when people cannot distinguish you from the character.
Yes.
Do you have any favorite memory on the set? Maybe from what we just did on the spin-off, or just from The Walking Dead itself?
I have many good memories, but mostly the memories I have that I'm holding with me are the ones that happened behind the scenes with the other cast members that I was able to become friends with. And what we did to support each other was it was unlike many other shows I had been on before. The sense of unity in a family that was on The Walking Dead set.
I feel like that's also the reason why they can also do so many spin-offs on the series, because there's such a good connection in between the cast as well, right?
Yes, I think so. I think a lot of people felt that they were given a great deal of good work to do and would want to do more of it.
You are here in Paris for the Comic-Con, and you've also done many other conventions before. Have you ever seen like a cosplay? There's so many like very realistic cosplays. Have you ever seen one from The Walking Dead that like brought back some memories, like maybe with the guts and everything around?
I've seen some fantastic cosplay around The Walking Dead. Mostly, it's not necessarily the walkers or the zombies that people cosplay as. They cosplay as Rick and Michonne a lot. I saw one guy who was King Ezekiel, who had a fantastic costume, and then a little tiger on wheels that he was rolling around, a little stuffed tiger that had an animatronic mouth.
Cool.
So it would like roar.
Yeah, they are very talented, I feel.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah, really creative people.
And if there was to have a zombie apocalypse right now, what would you do? And please don't tell me you just jump on the next rock, scream
No.
for help, or lock people outside.
No, at this point, I've learned how to be a survivor. I think I've picked up a few skills from the show that would do me well. And also, we were given lots of weapons as gifts. So I have a hatchet and a katana and a few other things to help, just in case the world goes sideways.
What would be like your essentials? Like if you have to carry a backpack, what would you put in the backpack for the survival?
I would have a weapon, of course, the means to make fire, a hatchet or a knife of some kind to be able to break down different things so that I could create some kind of shelter if I were out in the woods. MREs, which are military ready-to-eat pouches, that you can make in a cup. They have things like rice and beans and beef and those kinds of things. And they come in small little packets and they expand when you cook
I've seen those, I think they use also that for astronauts, no?
Yes, they do. Yes.
So you also were in Teen Wolf movie last year. How was it to see the cast after so many years?
That was great. That was great. I loved working on Teen Wolf. I was doing Teen Wolf and The Walking Dead at the same time. And whenever I had... Yes, they were complete opposites. Whenever I had something that was, troublesome to do on The Walking Dead in terms of how the audience would react to the character, Jeff Davis, the creator of Teen Wolf, said, well, we will give you something heroic to do on Teen Wolf. And one of the things I enjoyed about working on Teen Wolf was working with all the kids because they helped to keep me young. They helped to remind me of the enthusiasm of being a young actor and being in your first job on TV, and the excitement that goes into that, so that it's more than just a job. And I kind of missed that a bit. And then seeing them all 5 years later, everyone's grown up. They're all like adults now. So that was very cool.
In the series, you were a druid. Would you have liked to be a werewolf?
I think I would like to have the strength and the power of a werewolf, but I don't know that I would want... I mean, the alpha can turn whenever they want to.
Yeah.
But aside from being an alpha, I don't know if I would want to have my life ruled by the whims of the moon.
So you have some upcoming projects. One of them is the zombie wedding.
Yes.
Okay. You're also playing a religious character, so Reverend Harry Crump. So although they are both religious characters, what are the biggest differences between him and Father Gabriel?
Well, the zombie wedding was a comedy. So the priest that I played in the comedy in the zombie wedding was miles and miles apart from the gravitas of Father Gabriel. He's a very interesting character that you would not find anywhere in the world of The Walking Dead.
Yeah, definitely. I've seen the photo and I was like, that cannot be him. For a second, I was like, this must be an error.
Yes, yeah, no, it was a lot of fun. It was a lot of makeup, a big wig, and lots of jewelry and very flashy, shiny costumes. It was a lot of fun.
So you also have another project coming, a movie called The Legend of the Lake Ronkonkoma.
Yes.
The Lady of the Lake. Can you tell us a little about what character you play in it and the development of the story?
That is a coming-of-age story for a teenage girl, and I played her father. It's a more somber and introspective film about loss and coping with loss and being able to move on. So it's the flip side of the zombie wedding. It's a serious film, and that was also a good deal of fun to play because I hadn't really played a father on film before, on TV before, and I have a teenage son, so I was able to bring some of my own experiences with dealing with teenagers, man. Teenagers.
So you often do either sci-fi or supernatural or even police related movies. Do you have any favorite kind of genre to play in?
I prefer dramatic series that are kind of, strangely enough, based in reality.
Mm.
That hasn't been the work that I've gotten in the last 10 years or so. It's been more supernatural and, or sci-fi fantasy. But I like straight kitchen sink dramas, two people talking in a room about serious stuff.
What is the craziest thing that you've ever had to do, either to prepare for a role or doing a role itself?
Craziest thing that I had to do. Well, it wasn't really crazy, but it was very, it took a lot of, what's the word I'm looking for? Not creativity, but anyhow, when we were doing Starship Troopers, which is a movie about the world at war with the bug planet, there were no bugs. We had to pretend there were bugs.
Oh, okay. So it was like the green stuff.
It was green screen all in the studio, but when we were out on location in Kadoka, South Dakota, and in the Badlands of South Dakota, and we were firing our massive weapons, we were basically shooting at the director, Paul Verhoeven, who was on the other side of the camera running around going, and the bugs are coming, and they're crazy, and they're fast, and they're big, and they're terrifying.
Yeah, so you have to have a lot of
imagination. That was the word I was looking for before, yes. Imagination, a great deal of imagination, but that was kind of like being back in acting school. When someone hands you an imaginary apple and you have to cut it open, or an imaginary orange and you have to peel it.
And you have any favorite movie or series or anything else that you've been a part of?
One of my favorite jobs was a show called The Wire, which was a cop show, a dramatic cop show, and that was also one of my first big jobs. So that holds a special place for me.